All right, so today we're going to be looking at Unit 8, Notes number 3, and we're still looking at solving systems of equations, and we're still going to be focusing on graphing. Okay, so just a few reminders. The solution to a system of equations is the set of all points that make both equations true. Okay, so these have to be true for both equations. Okay. So to find solutions, we are looking for the points that are on both curves. Okay, so since they make both equations true, they have to be on both curves. Okay, and those are also the points where the curves intersect. All right, so looking at our first example, number 1, it says find the solutions to each system graph below. So if we look at our first example, we have a parabola, so a quadratic function, and we also have a nice straight line. Notice that these only intersect one time, and we actually gave that point to you. So that means that this has one solution. And that point that we saw was at 1, 3. Okay. So since they intersected one time, they had one solution. Now if we look at the next one, this parabola and straight line intersect 2 times. Okay, they intersect 2 times. So since they intersect twice, we're going to say 2 solutions at the first one was at 1, 1. And the second one was at 4, negative 2. Well, that was an ugly looking 2. All right. And then looking at our last example, okay, we had again a parabola and a nice straight line. Okay, so a quadratic function and a linear function. And if I look at those never intersect. Since they never touch, we're going to say that we have no real solutions. All right. So we can solve a system by graphing the equations. So just like we have been doing. And finding the intersections. All right. So looking at our first example, number 2, well, our first example that we have to graph. So looking at this one, it says solve by graphing by hand. So the first one, which is going to be our blue line, says y equals 2x minus 4. This is our linear function. And we know our y-intercept is going to be 0, negative 4. And our slope is 2. So we're going to start at 0, negative 4. Our slope is 2, so we're going to rise 2 and run 1. We're going to go up and over 2, up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1, up 2 over 1. So on and so forth. And then we're going to connect our points so we have a nice straight line. All right, that one didn't turn out that bad. Sweet, sweet. All right, so then moving on to our next line, we have y equals x minus 2 squared minus 3. Since we have that squared, this is our quadratic function, so we're going to have that parabola. My vertex is at 2, negative 3, because remember, h lies and k tells the truth. So 2, negative 3. So we're going to start by plotting our vertex. 2, negative 3. And then remember, to graph a quadratic, we make our over and up table. So we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, and up 1, 4, 9. And remember, we always multiply by our a value, but our a value here is just a 1. So if I multiply by 1, it's not really going to change anything. Okay? So we're going to start at a vertex, go over 1 and up 1. Notice that we already have an intersection right there on the left side. I'm going to go back to the vertex and go over 2 and up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do that on both sides. Go back to the vertex, so we're going to go over 3 and up 9. So over 3 and up 9, which will be right there, and that's where our next intersection is going to be. Notice it's right on that line. So we're going to connect our wonderful parabola. And not so bad. All right, so then looking at this, we have two intersections. We have one right here and one way up here. Okay, so we're going to say two solutions. At, this first one was at 1, -2. And the second one was at 5, 6. All right, go ahead and get that down. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the next page. All right, looking at number 3. It says solve by graphing by hand. Once again, we're working with the same type of process. We have y equals, we're going to do blue first. I've always done blue first. We're going to do y equals 1/2 x plus 2. Okay, that's my linear function. My y-intercept is going to be 0, 2. My slope is 1/2. So we're going to start at 0, 2. My slope was 1/2, so that means I'm going to rise 1 and run 2. Rise 1 and run 2. And connect. All right, pretty good line right there. Our next one is y equals negative x plus 3 squared. That's our quadratic. Our vertex here, remember h lies and k tells the truth, so that's going to be -3, 0. Remember, we use the 0 when it doesn't look like there's a k value. Okay, and my a value here is going to be a -1. So that means our parabola is going to open down. So it's going to look like that. So we're going to start by plotting our vertex. So that's going to be at 0 or -3, 0. Right there. Our parabola opens down, so we're going to use our over and up table. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 9. But now we're multiplying by a -1. And we multiply by that negative, that means everything goes down instead of up. So we're going to go over 1 and down 1 on both sides. And over 2 and down 4. And then last but not least, over 3 and down 9. But that's going to be off our graph, so we're pretty much done. All right, so looking at this, those two lines never touch. See how they get really close, but they never actually touch each other. So this is going to be no solutions. All right, and looking at number 4, we have y equals -3 for our blue line. Since it's just y and a number, that's our hoy. So that means it's going to be a horizontal line. So we're going to go to the y-axis at -3 and plot a point. And it's going to be the horizontal line going right through -3. Okay, so there's our first one. Easy peasy. Now looking at our next one. Again, we're working with a quadratic, a parabola, because we have that x squared there. Okay, so for this one, we know our a value is 2. Okay, it's positive, so our graph's going to be going up. And then our vertex is going to be 0, -5. We don't have an h value, but we still have that k value, and it's always telling the truth. So we're going to start at 0, -5, plot our points, or plot our vertex. And then we got to make our wonderful over and up table. So 1, 2, 3. And then our up is 1, 4, 9. But we got to multiply by our a value, so we're multiplying by that too. So really, we're going to be going up 2, and then 8, and then 18, if the graph lets us. All right, so we start at the vertex. We're going to go over 1 and up 1. Notice I've already found both of my intersections, so that's great. We're going to go ahead and finish our graph though. We're going to go over 2 and up 8. And it's not going to let us go up 18, so we're going to be done there. Connect. All right, so we have 2 solutions here. Let's look to find where they are. One was right there at -1, -3, and then +1, +1, -3. So -1, -3, and +1, -3. All right. Looking at our last one, guys. Number 5. Start with a blue line, of course. So we got y equals 2x plus 1. That means our y-intercept is 0, 1. Our slope is +2, so that means we're going to go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1. So 0, 1, up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1. All right, and then connect. Oh, hey, that turned out really good. Sweet. That's a nice line right there. You guys should all be jealous of that line because it's great. All right, so next we're going to do our quadratic. Our vertex is, remember, h lies and k tells the truth, so +1, 2. Our a value is a -1, so that means our graph goes down. He's a frowny face graph. So 1, 2. And then we're going to make our wonderful over and up table that we all know and love. 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 9. And my a value is a -1. Okay, so that means we got to multiply by that negative. But that means since we're multiplying by the negative, it's got to go down. So we're going to go over 1 and down 1 on both sides. So notice we've got an intersection right there. And then we're going to go over 2 and down 4. And over 2 and down 4. And then over 3 and down 9, which will put us right at -7. All right, so now we got to graph and connect all those points. Oops, totally missed the point. All right, and these have one intersection right there at 0, 1. So we're going to say one solution. One solution. Oops, that was ugly. At 0, 1. All right, if you have any questions, please make sure you're asking your algebra teacher. Guys, at this point, you should be moving on to that Google form. Remember the Google Forms? We're grading on completion and accuracy. So you need to make sure that you're really taking your time on those and you're asking questions, emailing your teacher if you have any to get help on those. Okay, because those are going to be really important that you're really checking your work. All right, if you have any questions, let us know.